Hey everybody, I am Terri Britt, and we are getting ready to start our Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. I'm just getting everything finished setting up. Let me get this recorded. So I'm really glad you're here this week. As you know, it is International Women's Month. And so yesterday was Women's Day. And I've been thinking about, what it is that as women leaders of love, what are we wanting to bring to the table, right? What are we bringing at the forefront for our families, for our communities, for the world? And I think this mantra that I have really encapsulates it all. It's, I am divine light, I am divine love, I'm divine wisdom, I'm divine creativity, I'm divine joy, I'm divine peace, I'm divine prosperity, I am fulfilled. Now think about that. That's what we're really craving, right? We're wanting peace, we're wanting wholeness, which prosperity, when you go to the original word, has to do with wholeness. So it's wholeness within. So as we raise our worth, we attract more abundance to us. But really, in reality, it is being fulfilled from the inside out. And I believe that's why we are here at this time on the planet, we women, that we are claiming our fulfillment. We're claiming this for ourselves so that we become examples for others. So today, when we start our little mini meditation to get grounded, can't talk, we're going to use that mantra to really get settled into who we are and why we're here, to be fulfilled, to be that light into the world. And it's so funny because when I was thinking about the words that were coming through, and I've used the mantra, I'm divine light, I'm divine love, I'm divine wisdom, I'm divine creativity for years, probably since the beginning of my journey. And I always come back to that. And when I come back to that, it brings me back to center because it's honoring that I am a part of this. So I am divine light. I am a light body. I am really, truly energy, right? I am divine love. I'm part of this beautiful energy of God. I'm divine creative, or I'm divine wisdom. So as we connect and say yes to this, we allow guidance to come through us. We allow the wisdom to flourish. I'm divine creativity. As we get into alignment with this energy, then we co-create with God, the universe, whatever you choose to call it. We co-create with source. And in that, there's so much joy, right? There's so much abundance. We're owning our worth as we say yes to these things. And then in that creativity, as we create from that connected space, we are now in this really high vibration and we're in a joyful state. We're coming from within and we're being joyful. I am divine prosperity is you are so whole on the inside because you're saying yes to all of these things that now you come into prosperity on the inside and you attract prosperity from your outer world. I am fulfilled is huge because we're all seeking that sense of a fulfillment of I am enough, I am loved, I am worthy, and I'm living my joys, I'm living my passion, I'm trusting, right? I mean, trust is huge. Most of us don't live in trust. And so that creates the emotional chaos. And as women, I believe we're here to do this deep work, to be the example, to seek fulfillment, to find it within so that we can be that example, because that is true fulfillment, is when we can serve by being who we are. That is true fulfillment, where we move out of emotional chaos and we feel that deep, deep connection within. And then we express our gifts to the world. That's truly fulfillment. So I want to invite you today as we dive into this mini meditation to get us grounding before we open up to questions is I'm going to take you into the grounding, but I'm going to invite you to say this with me, this mantra, and really feel it in your being. I want to invite you to say, you know what, today I'm letting the crap go. I'm letting this belief that I have to do more or be more. I'm just going to say yes, that I am divine. I am part of this body of God, and therefore I am divine. The more we can own that we are a part of this beautiful energy of love, the more we can get rid of our judgments on ourselves about being bad, about feeling inadequate, that we're not lovable, we're not likable. the more we can claim our divinity, that we are part of this, and that we're just walking a human path, that we're just doing a journey as a human, the more we can move into acceptance of that, ooh, that's where the fulfillment comes from. That's where we move into I am divine light, I'm divine love, I'm divine wisdom, and so on. So I want to invite us right now to dive into this. Let's do a little mini meditation. If you are watching us on Facebook, welcome. You'll see right here that we have some people on with Zoom. So I'll tell you a little later how to do that, but just know that we want you to ask questions. We're going to have those here on Zoom asking questions specifically to me. And then on Facebook, if you have something that comes up or if you have a comment, please write it in your comments. And then, of course, when we post this replay, we post it in on our blog page, and make sure you post anything you want to post there as far as comments or questions. Okay. And I will do my darndest to answer them all. So I want to invite you right now to close your eyes. Take a breath, hold it, and release very slowly. Take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and release very slowly. As you continue to breathe this way, I want to invite you to visualize opening up your crown, the crown of your head, so that we call in the light of love, the light of abundance. We're getting grounded, the light of God, whatever rings true for you. And as you allow this light to flood into your head, into your neck, into your shoulders, you're continuing this breathing in and out. Allowing that light now to run down your arms and out your hands, the palms of your hands and your fingertips. Imagining that your hands are hands of light. And now coming from your shoulders, moving down into your chest, and really you might want to move your shoulders around and just kind of give some movement to the light coming in, and any stuck energy that's in your shoulders or your neck, let that energy move in and soften it. Breathing into this. You can feel yourself relaxing more and more and more. Now allowing that light to move down into your ribs, all the way down into your belly, washing all of your organs. And now at the base of your spine, really feeling that energy release any stuck energy. We're releasing any stuck safety energy, needing to stay in survival mode energy. And then move that energy down your legs, into your ankles, and into your feet, visualizing the balls of your feet and the tips of your toes opening up, releasing everything. And now checking in with your aura, and imagine it at arm's length on either side of you, in front of you, behind you, above you, and below you, like you're sitting in this egg of energy. Allow the energy to wash your aura. That is, you're so full, right? It's like you're overflowing, and it's coming from this light that is continuing to flood in. Let it wash the inside of your aura and the outside, so that everything's dumping to the bottom. Breathing into this again. Releasing. And now visualizing a beautiful column of light around the outer edges of your aura. You can imagine it starting right at your hips and then shooting down to the center of the earth. This is your grounding cord. So allow all the energy that's in your aura now at the bottom to dump down your grounding. Let it go all the way down. Breathing into this. So I want to invite you now, as you're allowing this grounding energy to run through you, continuing to breathe in through your nose, holding it, and releasing out of your mouth. As you continue to stay in this receptive space, I want to invite you to move into this mantra. Just say it with me. I am divine light. You can repeat after me. I am divine light. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I am divine creativity. I'm divine joy. I'm divine peace. I am divine prosperity. I am fulfilled. And let's do that again. I am divine light. And you might even want to put your hand on your heart. So let's do it again. I am divine light. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I'm divine creativity. I'm divine joy. I'm divine peace. I am divine prosperity. I am fulfilled. Breathing into this. And I want you to feel your vibration shifting as you're saying yes to this. I give myself permission to step into this. And now I want you to invite your inner child in. You can invite your guides in, let's make it a party. And so I want you to imagine that as you're sitting there in this space and you're saying yes to this energy, that it's running through you, because in your divinity, you're connected to it all, right? So as you're sitting there, you can imagine holding your inner child and you're looking in her eyes, okay? I want you to imagine looking in her eyes and imagine her saying this with you, right? So here we go again. I am divine light. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I am divine creativity. I am divine joy. I am divine peace. I am divine prosperity. I am fulfilled. Breathing into this. And I want you to feel yourself as if you're getting so excited. And we're going to do it one last time. And I want you to imagine that you and your inner child are saying yes to this. And even your guides are around you. And everybody's jumping up and down going, yes, 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 yes. We are claiming this. I am claiming this. So once again, I am divine light. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I am divine creativity. I am divine joy. I am divine peace. I am divine prosperity. I am fulfilled. Breathing into this, saying yes to it. Saying yes, 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 yes. Whew, let's release anything else that's ready to be done with, any energy that came up for you. Just recognize, saying, you know what, this is the truth of who I am. So anything that's coming up, I'm just going to say no. I acknowledge you. I accept that this is my humanness, but I'm letting you go. Breathing into this. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed that mantra. It is so powerful to me when we go into that space and really allow ourselves to honor our divinity of who we are and how we were created. So now it's time to open up for questions. Those of you who are on Zoom can ask live. As you know, I think most of you have been here many times. So if you want to ask a question, you raise your hand, you look for the reaction button, click it, and you'll see how to raise your hand. There's a little thing that says raise your hand. If you're wanting to ask a question and you can't figure it out how to do it here on Zoom, then just open up your mic and I will see it open up over here and I'll call on you. For those of you who are on Facebook and those of you who want to be a part of this and you're not a part of our mailing community, you can go to terribritt.com/leaders and get my free Women Leaders of Love ebook and free guided meditations. And then that will send you the Zoom link in our next session, which is every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I don't see any hands being raised, ladies. Who wants to jump in? Okay, there's Jane. Hey, Jane, you want to yourself? Hey.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, how can I help you?
Last week you said we can do your passion test or your test.
The worthiness quotient test.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I did. And then for my passions, I was like, yes, a bit low. So my question was, how can I find my passions? Or yes.
How cool. I'm so glad that that helped you see that. I love the worthiness quotient quiz because it breaks it down. And so you can see the different areas. So our passions are when we really start allowing ourselves to explore our feelings and what gets us excited, what gets us joyful. And half the time we don't even know what that is, right? So we have to take tiny steps. Like I did, I never would have known that this kind of work was my passion, never even did any of it until I got guided to go to a meditation class at a healing school because my therapist said, you're wound too tight. You need to get into meditation. Well, as soon as I said, okay, I'm ready to do that, all of a sudden I was invited to this school that was a healing school. Didn't even know about healing schools. Okay. I was clueless. And as soon as I got into the healing school and started experiencing energy, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then as soon as I went into the healing classes where we started moving energy with our hands, I was like, sheesh, I had no idea. And then I went into a change schools with my girlfriend and we went to a clairvoyant school to learn how to read energy. It was over a year, and then went through the ministerial program, did all this stuff. And with each piece that I did, it was like I got deeper into this, like, this is so exciting. I had no idea, right? So it's about starting to pay attention to what excites you, what draws you. Like I'm watching my daughter right now, and she has a couple of jobs. She's a bartender. She works at my other daughter's coffee shop, but she just started taking an animal behavioral course, not course, a year-long program, so she can be an animal behaviorist anywhere in the world. And it's so cool. And I knew she loved animals, but I would have never known that she would do this. And when she told me, I was like, wow, you're allergic to dogs, but you're going to work with dogs. She loves animals, but she's allergic, right? But she doesn't care. She is following her passion and she's so excited. She's learning a lot. So what I always suggest to people is, what is something that maybe you enjoyed as a child, Jane? What is something that it brought you joy, it made you feel playful or alive? Do you remember anything from the past that sticks out to you?
Yes, playing with other kids and stuff like that.
So being social. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So that there's a start. So what are you doing right now that is social, in the sense of, are you going to any groups? Are you involved in anything?
Yes, I started again to go into groups. Yeah.
Okay. And is anything resonating for you?
Not yet, because I just started again, so it's
okay,
fresh.
Well, good. So what's good about that is you're already starting to listen to your intuition to do that. Now I want to invite you to do something with me, and everybody else who's watching and listening, you can do this too. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and visualize that little girl in front of you. Tell her she has permission to speak her truth, and then ask her, what would really excite you for us to explore? And this is about not putting boundaries up, just saying, what would really excite you? And then tell me what she says, Jane.
I just sense a big smile coming from inside, but I have no words.
You have no words. Okay. So ask her then if if she feels safe to tell you.
No answer.
No answer. So here's a really fun tool you can do. You can visualize a rose in front of you, and you can use it as a truth or false. You can use it as a yes or a no. So imagine the rose in front of you and say, does my inner child feel safe to tell me what's in her heart? If it stands up, it's a yes. If it falls over, it's a no. Before you do that, visualize your crown open, because we don't want to grasp. We want to let ourselves be in a surrendered state. Visualize the rose in front of you, and then ask, does my inner child feel safe enough to tell me what would make her feel passionate and alive, what she would like to explore? And is it a yes or is it a no?
So if it's a yes, the rose is standing there, and if it's not, it's not. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm with my left brain, so I cannot.
Okay, that's okay. That is totally okay. So when you're doing that, so you're in a grasping state, okay? When we're in our left brain, we're kind of like, oh, let me give me the answer, give me the answer. So what I would encourage you to do is to do what you're doing socially, right? Go out, you just never know. It might be that, because like for me, I didn't know that I was interested in energy because I didn't know anything about it, right? So when I was invited to go to this healing school, this girl I didn't even know, she was introduced by another friend. And she says, I'm going to go to this school to do meditation if you want to go with me. Well, next thing I know, I'm in this world I didn't even know existed. So you may not know what it is. Okay. So what I want to invite you is to do the social thing. Get out, just get to know people and see where you connect. Okay. Have fun with that. And then maybe do some journaling on a daily basis about just getting to know your inner child, about what excites her, what she feels. Let her really have a voice with you so she feels safe enough to speak her truth to you. And then as you do this, listen to the nudges. If you feel like, okay, well, I need to go down to the local coffee shop today, and you're starting to say no, go. You never know. Just go and be in a state of surrender. You never know if you're going to meet somebody, if you're going to see something pinned up on the wall that says, go, it's a class or something you want to take. You just never know. So be in a state of, I'm open. And what I would say to you right now is the final thing to do, and really you can do it as the beginning, but since you didn't get a real clear answer. So if you were living your passions, what would that feel like to you?
I have to imagine that, or what?
No, I'm just asking you, if you could put a word to the feeling of, like for me, when I think of passions, I think of being alive, having fun, right?
I am driven. I have a sense of, how do you say it? Yeah, I'm driven. There's a motivation.
There's motivation. So there's this drive. So for me, like when I started with mine, I was doing things that made me feel playful. Working with energy was so playful, right? It was loving and kind to me. And so I started following that. And then as I got the passions came in, I started realizing this is a real passion for me. Okay. This is a really cool passion. So then it started expanding, and I explored more classes, took, learning. I still learn. I'm constantly reading. I'm always learning new stuff. So I would invite you to set, so whatever it would be that you're motivated, you're on fire. So I want you to imagine that feeling. And so this is called setting an intention. So you're setting an intention of what it is. You don't know what the passion is, but you know how you want to feel. And so you go into gratitude and just say, I am so excited that I'm living my passions. I am so excited that I feel so joyful that I'm following my heart and following the divine guidance. And it feels so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for guiding me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me signs. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this wonderful journey I'm on. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That to me is setting an intention. Okay. So when you're doing that, when you go into that space of yes, you're saying yes, right? You're saying yes. And then, really allow yourself to pay attention. Allow yourself to watch for the signs. Don't grasp, just be in a state of, okay, I'm going to go do this social stuff. I'm going to talk to my inner child, build a relationship with her more and more so she feels like she can speak to me and tell me what's really in her heart. I'm going to listen to the nudges. Oh, there's a dance class over there. That's really intriguing. So you might find yourself going, oh no, but I can't do that. I can't do that. I would invite you to say, yes, I can. There's a girl on the internet. She was one of my first Enlightened Mom students back in 2004 or 2005. And she and her husband, I was just putting the classes out, and I called 3 local newspapers. All of a sudden, one of them calls me. I just wanted to let them know what I was doing. They ended up doing a full page news article on the Enlightened Mom work. I mean, full page. I didn't pay anything, nothing. Well, her husband saw it and he handed it to her and he says, I think you should take this class. And they were really tight on money. And he says, just take it. Well, she felt the nudge to go because she wanted to go. And she comes to the class. All of a sudden, some money that they had been owed comes out of nowhere so that it pays for the class. She takes my class, an 8-week course, really very much about what I teach with my worthiness quotient, because I just made the worthiness quotient course more for more different people, not just moms. After that, she started diving deeper into energy and stuff. She found her passion. She gets a download for a book called How to Raise Your Vibration. She puts it on Facebook and she's probably got 300,000 followers. Okay. She had no idea until she took my course. She had no idea what her passions were. She had no idea. She was so blocked about what she deserved and what she thought she had to be as a mother. So it was that trusting when it got handed to her and it rang true for her. She didn't even know it existed because I hadn't put it out there yet. So she comes and takes the course. Her whole world opens up. She keeps following the nudges of her heart. She's now traveled all over the world studying energy, doing some really cool stuff. And, and her whole world opened up. And the universe supported her with having the money show up where she didn't know where the money was coming from, but the money showed up. I can't remember. It was something like something about a couch, something that some damage and some money that came back to them. I don't know. But anyway, she got to come. And so that's what happens is that as you start following your passions, as you start saying yes to, well, I'm going to go try this. I'm going to play. I'm going to do this because it feels like it's something that's going to support me and love me. You help me love myself. Then the universe is going to mirror it back to you. So my point is that when you're looking at something and you're like, oh, I can't do that. Or that's not possible. That is that little kid inside of you. That is your brain wired saying, no, you can't. But if your nudge is drawing you to that, I want to invite you to say, yes, I can. Because remember, if you're feeling a nudge to go try something or do something, that's God speaking to you. If it is loving and kind to you, it is God speaking to you. Okay? Don't limit that. So that's how I would suggest you find your passions. Does that help a little?
Yes. I just feel my inner child is, it will take time to tell that she tells me that she's ready.
It may take a little time, but give her permission to follow her passions. Aren't you taking my worthiness quotient course?
No.
Oh, because there's a whole module on passion. It's called Fire. And it's about releasing the beliefs that say it's not okay to be passionate. And then it helps you to start diving into them. We do some really cool exercises because a lot of times we don't have permission to be passionate. If you've been following the good girl rules, then we've been told suppress, 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 suppress. You can't show that kind of excitement. You can't be in that kind of light. So we clear out some of that stuff. And you can check out the page, the landing page for it. It's just terribritt.com/worthy. And it might be something you want to look into because it is very, very powerful. And the tools that I teach in that are pretty much what I've used to help me dive into my passions. But what I gave you today is a great place to start. But I would encourage you to look at, what are my passions, or where am I blocked around being able to be passionate, that kind of thing. Okay. So right now it's feeling the feeling, talking to your inner child. You're already listening to your intuition to go do the social thing. Do those things. Just keep listening, keep talking to your inner child. Look, dive within, look at any blocks you might have that have to do with passion, and then it'll start being revealed. I promise you it will, because I didn't know to do any of that, right? When mine showed up, it was just, I just want to be different for my family. I was tired of being angry. And when the therapist said, you need to get into meditation, I'm like, you're right, but I don't know where to go. And I told a friend, and she told a friend, and introduced us, and it just kind of opened up. So you just never know what's going to open up if you're setting your intention to be that. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Jane, if you will mute yourself, that would be great. And then Cindy, I am going to ask you to unmute.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fabulously well. Thank you.
The discussion with Jane just now was really helpful to me, and everything that you said. And if you remember, like 2 weeks ago, you dug into my aura and pulled out some spiders and a scroll and all kind of stuff. I remember words that you said. You said something like, this energy stuff is play for you. I've been analyzing that and trying to figure that out. And, energy work is very new to me. Very, very new to me. And I did the exercise that you were doing with Jane, and I don't see or hear my inner child. I don't see the rose, nothing. And the only thing that I consciously can say that could possibly be it has something to do with dance and music. And I don't play an instrument, nothing. And
Do you turn on the music at home and dance?
Yes.
You do that?
Not a lot, but I have. And before COVID, there was a place that my husband and I would go that he didn't have to dance. I could dance with now a bunch of women will get up and dance,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there
for
was,
sure.
There was a group that I could do that with, but we're not doing that anymore. Every once in a while, we'll put on some music and do that at home, but not often.
Okay. So what about taking a dance class?
I don't really know of any in our area, but I can do some
Do some research, just to see if there's anything there. The wineries, because I know you're local to where I am, and the wineries have, like Serenity, they play music on Friday nights and people get up and dance all the time. So that's one of my favorite things to do, is to go and dance. And then I can tell you at our coffee house, we're going to start probably in the next month or so doing one dance night a month out on our patio. I know. So those are some things to look forward to, okay, that you can do. But I just want to first off commend you that dance and music, the fact that you're getting that answer is cool. Why it feels like, I want to just look at your energy for a minute and see why you're not able. And Jane, you can do this too. Anybody else can do it too. If you feel like you're having a hard time seeing and getting answers, I just want to look at, you for a second and see what's going on, because immediately when you said, I'm not seeing anything, remember, a lot of times we don't see, a lot of times we hear, we have a knowingness, we have a feeling. Okay. There's different ways of tapping into intuition. So don't judge yourself. I always talk in the terms of visuals because I'm visual, but you can hear it and experience it in different ways. And we all do it a little bit, but just so you know that. Okay. So part of our natural gifts is being able to tap into our intuition. But a lot of times as children, we're told, you don't know. You don't know. Mama knows best. Daddy knows best, right? And so we have a tendency to shut down our ability to see. Okay. We'll shut down our sixth chakra, which we'll see from here. It goes all the way into the pineal gland where we have, we get a lot of information. It comes in from our crown and our higher self. And so what I would suggest you start doing to open that up is take a rose. Sometimes we use roses to draw out energy and then send it out into the universe and blow it up. Take a rose. Let's try this right now. So everybody, you can try this. So take a rose, visualize taking a rose into your crown and really drawing any stuck energy out. And you can even see, am I, like right now, what I'm seeing with you, there's a contract that, that where you had shut this down. Okay. So I'm seeing that's coming out. And if anybody else says this is resonating for you, so let me just look at this contract and see what it says, Cindy. Oh, this is interesting. And see if this resonates for you. It says, I can't be in the know or I'll get in trouble. So did you ever have an experience as a child where maybe, in the South, we say you're too big for your britches? Have you ever heard that saying?
Oh, I've heard it. Yes.
Yes. So have you ever had that sense where, or maybe it wasn't happening to you, somebody in your family where they were feeling like, they were very knowing or they acted like they knew everything and there was dissension because of it? Was there anybody like that? Or did your dad have the full know? Like in my house, my dad was the all-knowing one. He was God. Okay.
Well, yeah. And even my children, even still, Pa knew everything. If we had a problem, we went to Pa, who was my daddy. But he never would have made me feel like I have to shut that down if I had that feeling.
But the
Or that I
reality
didn't know.
is that it doesn't matter what he did. Is that if you saw he was in the know and that he was that person, then a lot of times what we do is we shut down. Like if you watched your mother, okay, so here's a prime example. Dad's in the know and mom doesn't allow herself to really go there, or she's not seen as being in the know. She may, and sometimes moms can be mouthy and like, well, I know, but she's not honored for that. In your household, it sounds like your dad was. Okay. A lot of times we can take on our mother's energy and say, this is how we have to play the part as a woman. Okay. And so we take that on and say, I can't be in the know, even though you consciously don't do that. But that's what I'm seeing is that I can't be in the know because it feels like an energy of punishment. And that would come from your mother. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay. So what happens is, you guys, is that we come in and we don't even realize it, but intuitively, we're watching our parents and what they do. Okay. We take on the roles that this is what we do. Like I used to have this client years ago. Before she got married and had kids, she was major heavy hitter in the television industry world. I mean, vice president of a huge production company, traveled all over, international. Okay. Vice president. She got married, had twins. Her husband was still one of the biggest wigs in television. And she would come into I write about this, and then like, Mom, she came into my office every week crying. And it was like this woman who was so empowered in business, but as a mother, she was losing it, right? And what came to pass is that she learned that she took on her mother's way of being, even though she had not been that way in business. Okay. So, but she took on her mother's way of being in her household with her children, and it was making her miserable because she thought that's what she was supposed to do. So we watch our parents, and if your mother didn't allow herself to be in her knowingness, if there was ever any dissension, if you could have had one moment where she was trying to claim what she knew and your dad shut her down or somebody else shut her down, you could have witnessed that, and you're like, you can't, it's not okay to be in your knowingness. So where it doesn't matter where it came from, is the fact that I'm seeing it there. Okay. And so what I would say to you is, and all of you can do this, is I want you to imagine that all the energy that says, I can't be in my knowingness, I can't be in my truth. I can't know what's right for me. I want you to imagine all that energy just pouring in to a basket. You can see a big wicker basket. Okay, imagine all that energy. And you can even see the energy of the bindings that are around your wrists and your ankles like shackles, because when you're not in your knowingness, you get shackled to get stuck where you are. So you can even see those coming off and put those in the basket. And then you can go down into your grounding, and you can imagine that there's all this energy there that is, you don't have to see it this way, but I see it as snakes, like guilt and fear. It gets in our foundation that it's not okay to stand in my knowingness. I don't have full permission. Imagine all that energy being lifted into the basket. Okay. And now let's imagine that all the times where you shut down your knowingness, maybe you can even see, like today, you're not allowing yourself to be in your knowingness when we start looking at this. Any other times that you recognize that, okay, just let those go into that basket.
It's what's hitting me right now is it's still happening at home.
In your home right now? Good awareness. Good awareness, girl. Yeah.
I'm very non-confrontational, and so for me it's easier if we don't agree to just let it go.
Okay, so here, do something with me, and anybody who relates to this can do it too. So I want you to do something. Cindy, I want you to visualize your inner child, and I want you to ask her, what is the belief she's holding on to that says she can't be confrontational, or at least just, it doesn't have to be a confrontation. It can just be speaking her voice about what she believes. What is the belief that's causing you to shut down?
Possibly that I won't win the argument anyway, so what's the use?
Okay, so go deeper. So if you don't win the argument, what is underneath that? What's the belief under that? I'll tell you what I see. I'm wrong. If I don't win the argument, then you're telling me I'm wrong. And you go another layer underneath that. And if I'm wrong, I'm not lovable. Okay. So think about that. If we have an underlying belief that says I am wrong, then we're going to, I'm wrong for my voice. I'm wrong for who I am. I'm wrong for what I feel, what I think. If we have a belief that says I'm wrong, then we're going to feel like we can never be ourselves. We can never speak up. We can never be in our knowingness. Because if we are, and somebody judges us as wrong, then we're afraid of losing their love. We're afraid we're not lovable. And that's what we're really craving, right? Is to feel that love. But every time you don't allow yourself to speak up in those situations, you're telling your inner child that she's not lovable. It's not your husband. You're doing it. Do you understand what I'm asking or what I'm saying? You're abandoning your inner child. So you are playing small and staying out of your knowingness because you don't want your husband to abandon you. But yet it brings you grief because I can see your sadness, right? And you're telling that little girl inside of you that how she was created is wrong. You're doing it to yourself. So I want to encourage you to start talking to her a lot, okay? And asking her, what does she feel? What does she know? And then give yourself permission to start being the voice of that little girl. So she feels safe and she feels protected. Okay. So I want you to go back to that basket that we were at, and we're going to move in the sense of if I speak up, if I say my knowingness, then I'm going to be told I'm wrong. I'm going to lose, and then I'm not going to be loved. So I want you to put all that energy in the basket. Okay. Put all of that stuff. And I want you to imagine that right now, what I'm seeing is almost like the old mummy stuff that they put around a mummy, the white stuff, the fabric is coming off of your head. It's coming off of your throat. It's coming off of your torso, and it's moving into that basket. And I want you to just feel yourself releasing some of that energy. And then we're going to take that basket, and we're going to ask your mom and dad spirit, even though I don't know if they're alive or dead, but we're just going to ask them to take it into the light of God and transmute that energy. And then let's call in your permission, just to say, I give my permission to be in myself, permission to be in my knowingness.
I give myself permission to be in my knowingness.
Yeah. And be in that state. Just allow the energy to flood in. So what I want to invite you to do is now tell your inner child that I give you permission to be in your knowingness. Being in that space of just saying, yes, I give you permission to tell me what you think. And so when you're ready, we can come back into this space. And so what I want to invite you to do is that now you already got the water, the music and the dancing. But I really want you to spend some time, like I said to Jane earlier, spending time getting to know your inner child and helping her feel safe. Because the more you connect to her, the more you parent her, the safer she's going to feel. So then when the next time comes with you and your husband and you're kowtowing to him, then you'll stop and say, wait, is this really how I want to do it? Do I want to put you in the corner? Do I want to tell you that you don't matter? No, I don't want to do that anymore. I want you to feel loved and as if you matter, but it's up to you to do that for yourself. Okay.
Okay.
How's that feel?
Feels pretty right.
That's a big one I had to learn, girl. Boy, I even had my high school boyfriend say to me, he was in college and I was in high school, and he said, you treat your dad as a god. And one of these days he's going to fall off of his pedestal. And he did. My dad fell off of his pedestal. He ended up becoming an alcoholic. He went crashing down. And it was like, wow, this is what we do. A lot of it, I believe, has to do with religious programming, through the centuries. And over in the Middle East, you really see it, where the man is God. But even still in our culture, the man is the one who, this is why we have Women's History Month, right? And we have International Women's Day, because we're trying to say that we have equal power, but the power doesn't come from them telling us we have the power. It is from us owning our power. That's what we're missing. And, women's lib, everything. It's, we can sit and scream all day, and yes, we need to have equal rights. But at the same time, if we would all do the inner work and own our worth as women, that would shift naturally. It wouldn't have to be such a fight. So good job. Good awareness.
Thank you, Terri.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm going to ask you to lower your hand. I'm going to mute you. Does anyone else have a question? Here's somebody down here. What is this? No, that was you, Cindy. Anybody else? We have time for one more question. Anybody? So again, for those of you who are watching on Facebook or who are watching the replay via LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram, and you're going on to my blog page, if you want to be on here so you can ask questions, you can go to terribritt.com/leaders, get my free Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle, and you'll get my Women Leaders of Love ebook, what we stand for, and how you can really start owning your worth, and then 3 meditations. So Sydney is saying something. So how can we offer acceptance and gratitude for the challenges in this lifetime? Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. You know, Sydney, the way I, because, you know, even with my molester, it's like, how do you have, you know, accept or have gratitude and acceptance for that? I see us as souls having a human experience. And I see us as every soul playing their part. Okay. So for me, the way I walk through this, because I don't know, because I used to hold really bad grudges, and I don't know if I could have gotten through that if I had not looked at it from this perspective. But as a spiritual coach, you know, I look at spiritual agreements, and you know what I was to learn from someone, whether it be a minor thing or a major thing like molestation. And I try to see that person as a soul. I talk about this a lot too in my worthiness quotient course, but we look at the soul. We look at, what is it that you're teaching me? Okay. And so when I can embrace it and receive the gift in it and learn from it and go deeper into loving myself, that's how I greet each challenge. I mean, if I feel anything negative showing up in my life, and if I can't get to the bottom of it, like, okay, so because I know if something negative is showing up and I'm reacting in any way, it is mirroring to me the vibration I'm holding. My thoughts create my feelings create a vibration. So the key is to get to my subconscious thoughts, right? So that's hard to do. That's why the beauty of challenges in our daily life are such a tremendous gift, because they're like, hey, pay attention to this. Hey, there are these signs telling you, you're reacting. So look at this. And by doing that, and then, you know, if I'm reacting, I go to little Terri and I say, I'm so sorry you're hurting. I'm so sorry you're hurting. I love you. And I'm so sorry you're hurting. And I allow the feelings to come up. I stay in gratitude for the feelings. I stay in gratitude for the situation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you so much for this healing. This really, really hurts. And I may be sobbing. I may have snot pouring out of my nose, but I'm going, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then in doing so, I allow it to take me back in time to a similar, to as far back as I can go, but to feelings. Let the feelings guide me. They're like my, you know, my guidance. And then when I get to that place where I can go back to a memory, and, you know, I'll ask little Terri, what's the belief you took on? So now I'm in the subconscious mind. What is the belief you took on when this happened? And that this situation now is mirroring to you. So by doing that, and recognizing that if it's causing me pain and suffering, it's not the truth. So then I move out the belief and I ask, what is my truth? I do a soul retrieval. So by doing that and then honoring my truth, that's the key, because a lot of times we may get the information, but we don't take any action to honor our truths. We just keep our voices in. We quit saying what we don't say what we need still, like with what we just did with Cindy. You know, she could be looking at it and realizing, like, I'm having this happen in my household right now with my husband. But, you know, Cindy, if you go back and you say, okay, if you go back in time, you know, do a retrieving the gift of love process is what I call it. And you go down and you ask little Cindy, so what was the similar situation? And you saw the stuff with your dad, right? That everybody made him God. And, you know, and then you ask yourself, what's the belief I took on? And you know that whatever the belief is that you took on is what your husband is mirroring to you right now. So then you say, okay, we're going to move this out. How do I love you so you can move this energy out? And she'll give you an answer. The little kid inside of you will give you an answer of how she needs to be loved. And then when you take action with that, that's when you really start embracing the challenges and you say, wow, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And you quit being a victim, which that's how our culture is bred, is that we're all victims. Like, well, this is happening to me. But if we can come into the mindset of this is happening for me, because we're looking at it from a spiritual perspective, then we move into empowerment mentality. So that is where we want to go with it. I hope that answers your question. So I see something from Nicole. Okay, Nicole, thank you for being here. She said she had to leave, but thank you. So Sydney, is there anything else you want to ask about that? Let's see if there's anything else that comes. So I hope that makes complete sense. It really is about, saying I'm a spirit having this amazing experience on planet Earth. And sometimes it's really awful. And, it's hard to even put your head around that for something that was so abusive. I mean, I was molested one time, but I know people who have been raped, who've been molested, who've had horrible trauma, that when they started looking at it as, how can I serve with this? Because who was I talking to the other day? Oh, a girl that had just gotten out of a mental ward. She was suicidal. And I told her, I said, I know you can't see this right now, but you have a great opportunity to serve through this situation, because, she's young and she's, probably wondering what she's going to do with her life. And I said, you have a great opportunity to serve. If you can take this and see it as this is part of your divine path, and that you can not only walk through it, but learn from it and give thanks for the healing that's happening, you can really help others. And she just kind of looked at me. I knew she wasn't really quite ready to receive that because she was still in her trauma. But if a seed was planted, that maybe, just maybe, there was an opportunity to serve. I mean, my kids, they sometimes are like, Mom, can I just vent? Especially my youngest, because she'll call me and she'll vent and vent and vent. She's really good about expressing her feelings. And, I'll give her a few minutes and I'll say, so what's the gift? How can you serve? How can you rewrite this story so that you serve people around you? And sometimes she's just like, I don't want to hear that right now. I'm like, well, I'm just reminding you. Okay. And, but it really has worked for my kids to see that, wow, I am learning, I am growing. There is something here for me to take from this. That's an amazing thing, so then you're teaching your family to not be victims as well. So that's the way I do it. So let me see. So Sydney says, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to wrap this up today, you guys. Let me just make sure there was nothing else on here. We're going to wrap it up, and let's close with a little mini meditation. We'll go back to the mantra that we did, and hopefully with the shift in consciousness that you've had today through the coaching, that you've had some awareness where you recognize that, oh wow, I'm worthy of more love. I'm not giving myself permission to have that. Like for you, Cindy, who I'm seeing on my screen right now, saying I am worthy of having a voice. I was given a voice. I need to use it. I am worthy of sharing my knowingness because I was given knowingness and it's time to use it. And you were created to have these things. So when you say no to them, you're saying no to God. You're saying no to how it was created. So when you say yes to it, you're saying yes to your worthiness, and you're saying yes to your divinity. So I want you, as we go into this closing meditation, to sit in that space and just go back into the breathing and recognizing anything that came up for you today. I want you to imagine anything you're ready to release. If you're recognizing that, oh, I've been holding on to this, I'm making my partner God as well, whatever. I want you to imagine putting all that energy into a rose, the head of a rose, acting like it's a vacuum cleaner, taking any energy out, and then send it out into the universe, blow it up like confetti, and then call in that energy of again of the mantra. And you can say it with me and feel it even more so than you did at the beginning today. I am divine light. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I am divine creativity. I am divine joy. I am divine peace. I am divine prosperity. I am fulfilled. Breathing into this, saying yes, 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 yes. I am fulfilled. I am a woman leader of love. And I spread my light as I say yes to who I am and the way I was created. Breathing in. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space. So I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous week. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being so courageous. And if you have any comments or anything, I would invite you to go to the Facebook page, our Women Leaders of Love page, and add any comments. If you had an aha, I'd love for you to share it. So thank you for being here. Mwah. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you same time, same place next week, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Bye-bye, everybody.